Ashleigh is one of our amazing presenters at the event, and we are so thrilled to have you here live on the podcast today. This is actually your opportunity to ask questions as well if you're here live. That's the fun thing.
As teachers, we've been sold this lie that everything is about students in our class, but as a teacher, you need to be enjoying it too, because the kids pick up the vibe. That can be really creative and really fun.
What's one tip you'd give to teachers to make math feel more rejuvenating, not just effective?
The main tip, I think, for me would be just change your mindset. If you don't like it, go in with a different mindset. Like, I'm going to try new things this year. Let's see what happens. Even just a let's see what happens, I think, is a good reframe.
I'm so glad that you are acquainted with Rainbow Sky because they are just amazing. Let's talk a little bit about your session at Educate and Rejuvenate. It covers 6 essential elements of a joyful math block. And for one, can I just say I love that title, a joyful math block.
Welcome to Rainbow Skies for Teachers, the go-to show dedicated to teachers who want to make a big difference in education. Whether you're in your first few years or well into your teaching career, we are here to inspire, support, and empower you with bite-sized tips, simple strategies, and the motivation to lead an education revolution, one classroom at a time.
We're Ashleigh and Alicia from Rainbow Sky Creations, 2 Aussie teachers who love all things teaching and learning. We are here to help you thrive as you work toward making an impact in your students' lives while loving your life as a teacher.
We are here to help you bring joy, simplicity, and creativity into your classroom on the daily, because
there are rainbows ahead, my friend, and together we're unstoppable.
Let's get into today's episode.
Rainbow Sky Creations acknowledges the traditional owners of the land we have recorded this podcast on, the Dharawal and Whadjuk Noongar people. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Hello. Welcome back to Rainbow Skies for Teachers. This week, we've got another special episode because we're actually flipping the script. Me, Ashleigh, I am being interviewed live by another teacher named Kelsey Sorenson. Now, Kelsey is an amazing educator, but she's all about supporting teachers as the whole person. So she's actually a certified life coach. She wrote an amazing book. We spoke about it on the podcast last year. So if you want to go back and have a listen to that episode, or you want to hear me interviewing Kelsey, that episode is there for you. I'll pop that one in the show notes. But also she runs a wonderful online conference every year. Now, this conference is starting this week. The link is in the show notes if you want to come and join us. I am doing a session there on behalf of Rainbow Sky Creations, but there are so many wonderful educators that have come together. So it's really a conference to build you as a teacher, but to really build you up as the whole person. She's talking about health tips. She talks about exercise. She talks about mindset. And then there's a whole heap of professional development as well. Reading, writing, maths, literally, she has it all. I am going to put the link to the conference in the show notes if you would like to join us. And if you're looking for a little bit of extra PD hours, maybe this is what you need. Without further ado, let's hand the mic over to Kelsey.
Hey, and Facebook is live. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're live on all the Educate and Rejuvenate and Teacher Goals platforms. And Ashleigh and I are recording this episode for both the Educate and Rejuvenate podcast and her podcast, Rainbow Skies for Teachers as well. So Ashleigh and I, we know each other because we are in a group where we just chat about business and life together. And Ashleigh, would you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody here?
Yeah, for sure. So I am Ashleigh Smith. I'm one half of Rainbow Sky Creations. I've got a business partner. Her name is Alicia. And as you can probably hear by my accent, we live all the way down under in Australia. I'm in Sydney, Australia. And Alicia's actually on the other side of Australia. She lives in Perth. And we love creating resources for teachers, especially maths resources, to make math time really, really fun. Now, before we get into talking about math, I may say maths with an S, or I might just say math. In Australia, we call it maths with an S, like we make it. So just bear with me if that's what you're hearing.
Yes, on our outline, I put like math with like parentheses with an S at the end. I know this is going on your podcast too. But I know you have more Australian listeners than I probably do on my podcast, though we do have listeners from all over. So it's so fun. And we do tend to get people in the chat We'd love to see. We have Sarah from Missouri. We have Jonathan from New York. Feel free to let us. We got 2 of you from Missouri. Amanda's staying hydrated with cool, clear water. Yes, we love asking what you're sipping because it is our Summer Sips podcast. It's to celebrate our Educate and Rejuvenate conference that we're doing, where you can join us for less than a latte or your favorite drink. Ashleigh is one of our amazing presenters at the event, and we are so thrilled to have you here live on the podcast today. This is actually your opportunity to ask questions as well if you're here live. That's the fun thing about recording this podcast live with a studio audience. Hello, Cynthia. Feel free to say hi in the chat. So I see a lot of you here. I know the numbers always grow the longer we're live. So right now we're about 140 of you here live. Our episode with Susan about the writing block was a huge hit, and everybody got so much advice on how to make their writing block run smoother. And I'm excited that today we're talking all about the math block. Ooh, Sarah has a good question. What time is it in Australia?
It's actually morning time, so it's 8:30 a.m. So I've gotten up. Summer Sips. It's cold here. Sydney doesn't cold, but it's very cold Sydney for Sydney people. So I've been drinking a coffee because I'm, as you can see,
so funny. You're yeah, it's not summer over here for me. Yeah, I know that's the fun thing when we do our calls, because we do a call together each month with a few of us, and it's evening. So right now it's 4:30 for me, but then it's morning. We're you're in the future. How is, I think we even in our messaging, we're how is the new year or whatever, earlier this year. So fun. Margaret says she loves their products. They have such great products. Yes, I'm so glad that you are acquainted with Rainbow Sky, because they are just amazing products, also amazing humans behind the products. And to me, that always matters as well. Cheryl says hello. Wendy says hi. Sarah is roasting here. A great day for a pool. Jonathan loves the math info you have in the background of your video.
Yes, for the people who are just listening to this, we've got a place value chart, because I love having a place value chart to teach math in your classroom every day, because it's a really interactive tool. So we've got that up there, and we've got a few games and things behind me as well.
Every time I see you pop on camera, I'm I swear you have something fun in your background like that. So okay, so without further ado, let's dive in a little bit. You've introduced yourself. We've talked chat. We've said why we're here. We're excited for Educate and Rejuvenate. We're excited for what you have to offer about the math block. I've got questions here, and then everybody in the live audience, feel free to drop your questions about the math block as they come up as we're talking, because I will do my questions first, but then if I see an awesome question from you, I will pull it onto the screen and we'll have Ashleigh answer it. So she's ready for that.
I am.
Okay, so what inspired both of you and Alicia, to make math one of your signature focuses at Rainbow Sky?
Well, it's a bit of a funny story, because my dad is actually a math teacher, a high school math teacher, and now he works at a university to teach teachers how to teach math, right? So you'd think, okay, she's got that in her blood. But for me, math doesn't come super, super easily. So I think that's actually one of my strengths, that maths doesn't come really easily to me, because I'm able to break it down and think about, okay, how would I understand this? How could I break it down to teach kids? And that is kind of where it came from. And then the other side is Alicia is really creative, super creative, thinking out of the box kind of gal. So we combined the way that I break things down with her thinking out of the box. And then we started to come up with some really fun, different ways to teach maths that weren't just, sitting down, completing worksheets, because it's really easy to fall into that just giving kids a worksheet. And it's an easy way to think, I can differentiate by giving them 3 different worksheets. But we wanted to be able to give teachers an opportunity to play games and have fun hands-on activities that don't involve loads of photocopying for worksheets. But also kids can play the same sort of game and it can be differentiated all in one. And that's actually possible to do too.
Yes, I love differentiating in that way. And so I love that you two do that all the time over at Rainbow Sky as well. And what I love that you mentioned that I don't think I'd heard you say before is how you turned your weakness into a strength, right? You're math is not you're like, it's not the thing I'm the best at, but actually it's a strength because now I know how to break it down better for the kids because I need to do that for myself. So I love that positive reframe. Just as a coach, I feel like I love noticing those things and how oftentimes we might think, oh, I'm not good at something, or I'm not good at teaching this. I bet everybody in the chat could be like, for me, for example, I'm like, I'm a language arts person too. Like I feel like I would say that same thing about math. So
yeah.
But again, there is the benefit to that too of, oh, then I need to figure out how to explain it to myself so then I can explain it to the kids, right? I love that.
Exactly.
Jonathan says kind of 2 ways to create problems and solutions. Yes. Oh, Charity says she had on the calendar for 6. We moved the time, so sorry about that. Ashleigh had, her daughter is getting an award, right? What's happening there? We're so excited for her.
Assembly. So my youngest, she's a kindergartner. She's getting an award at a big school assembly, and it's a surprise. So we had to move this half an hour earlier so I could get there and see.
Yes, family first always, right? Let's get into the next question. I don't see any questions in the chat yet, just lots of engagement. So let's bust a myth while we're here. Why do you think so many teachers believe math can't be fun or creative?
I think it's one of those things that we are taught or that's ingrained in our mind that's passed down. It's generational. We hear parents say, I'm not good at math. My kid's not going to be good at math. Math's boring.
Yeah.
All those things. And even
language arts is so much more creative. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not true. I think one of the things that we've discovered the most in Rainbow Sky and creating all of our resources is that math can be really creative and really fun. You just need to open your mind up a little bit and be open to making a few little changes. And it doesn't need to be massive changes all in one. You can just implement just a few little things that make a massive impact.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, I feel like we think so often that we have to make these giant leaps and bounds in the little changes we do. It's like, oh, well, math, I have to teach these things, so it has to be that way. But just little things you can do to make it more fun, to make it creative. Like, it's totally, totally possible. I missed Sarah's comment earlier. She said, being a special education teacher, it's great to have all students doing the same activity on differentiated levels. Yeah. So important. And that's where that creativity can come in too, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And Sarah, you're right on the right track there, because as a special education teacher, and I know as teachers who are in their own classrooms too, it's important that kids don't feel left out, isolated, thinking, oh, I'm doing this activity because I'm not as smart as these kids. So it actually helps build that confidence. Going back to my dad, who is a maths teacher, he wrote a PhD, and his PhD was all about kids' confidence in maths and how that can actually affect their academic performance. So he proved that confidence really plays a huge, huge part. And Sarah, your comment there just really reminded me of that.
Yeah, and that honestly doesn't surprise me, because our confidence is tied into our belief of I can do math or I can't do math. And so if you don't have confidence in yourself and your abilities, then that's going to impact the way you see everything. So it impacts the way you take in the instruction, or the how you might feel. You might get all anxious and then, cause you to kind of just stop. We see that a lot with students, that they freeze, right? It's like a freeze response to math. And so I think when we bring in that creativity, it honestly helps to regulate their nervous system too, because creativity is very regulating in itself. So I don't know. Have you noticed that at all, Ash?
Yes, I couldn't agree more with that. I also think by allowing them to do activities where it's okay to make mistakes, where there's hands-on materials that they can adjust and change around, where they can play games, it takes away that pressure of this has to be right or wrong. And I think that's where that idea that math is hard or math is difficult or like it is, because there's a right and there's a wrong, and language arts is different to that. There's more gray area.
There's more nuance.
Yes. And I can see why people go towards that over math, but there's a lot of really great ways to relax the atmosphere. And we're really believers in playing games and allowing games, make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. Is tying in that growth mindset is so important.
Yeah, and that's where I think getting the answer wrong is not a problem. So often it's like, oh, you got it wrong, and it's like, oh no, I got it wrong. I don't want to get it wrong. Again, it causes that anxiety, that freeze. And when we're like, oh no, it's totally fine to get it wrong. How many times did it take Edison to create the light bulb or whatever? that's part of the experiment. And if you can teach kids to see math more in that way, then it becomes a lot more fun.
Definitely.
Yes, I'm loving the comments. Charity says, I love math. It can be so much fun. Jonathan is also a special ed teacher. I feel like we have a lot of special ed teachers in our community, which I love. And I think it's partially because here in Educate Rejuvenate, we have such a wide range of levels. And we do a lot of what you do too, where it's like, oh, they could pull the resource for 5th grade, or they could pull it for 2nd grade, and the same class could be doing it. And I love that. And a secondary school math teacher from Ghana, and just want to say maths is fun. Yes, it is math with the S. Okay, so in Ghana, they do math with the S as well. So we're all over the world here today. Australia, Ghana, United States. Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay,
that's amazing. That's the first time we've ever gotten a message from Ghana. So a big hello to you.
Yes, I love it. I love it. It's partially when we go live with teacher goals, we do get even more. I mean, in our Educate and Rejuvenate community, we do have people from, all over, but I feel like even more so as we stream on, because we're live streaming both on the Educate and Rejuvenate and teacher goals platforms, because we are partnering with Teacher Goals to bring some of their authors to do live sessions at our event. So they're allowing us to stream there too. So a lot of you are here on Teacher Goals. So hello. We're happy that you're all here. Okay, again, if you have any questions for Ashleigh about your math block, she is here to answer them. So pop those into the chat. While you do that, let's talk a little bit about your session at Educate and Rejuvenate. It covers 6 essential elements of a joyful math block. And for one, can I just say I loved that title, A Joyful Math Block. Tell me why you picked that as the title. I love hearing that.
Yes, because math can be really fun. In Australia, we teach literacy in the morning. So we do all of our reading and writing for the first 2 hours of the day, and then the kids have a recess break. And then we go straight into math for at least an hour. So I think sometimes you can go into that. You're starting up fresh, and then you're like, oh, no. But we don't want it to be like that. We want it to be like, yes, we've got math after recess. Yes, we talk about 6 different ways that you can make sure that it becomes joyful. And it's not just ways like, play games. We really go into the nitty gritty of what a good maths lesson is made up of. So we talk about things like differentiation, but we talk about what Sarah was saying a bit earlier on, having games and activities that kids can use that are differentiated for the class, but they're all doing the same thing. So we talk about more nitty gritty things. We talk about things that may have been, I know, for example, explicit teaching in the online communities. Some people have been saying, we don't need to be doing that, but I really talk about why that's important and how you can do that. It doesn't need to be 40 minutes of the kids sitting down and listening to you explicitly teach, but as an important element to our maths lesson. So we really talk about those elements that we can put in. And if we start layering them all on top, you're going to have success as a teacher, which makes it more fun to deliver. But then your students are going to have so much more success too, because the lessons are going to be at their level. They're going to be activities that they really, really enjoy. And they're going to start growing that growth mindset, which then in turn allows them to take on more challenges and to enjoy that process. It's just like it's like a big boulder rolling down the hill, and you're picking up momentum as you go along.
Yeah, I was about to say momentum, then you said it. Yeah, and it just sounds like the biggest win-win. You're like, oh yeah, it's great for you as a teacher. You feel successful because you're following this framework where it layers on top of each other. And then the students are successful in enjoying math more, and it just spirals, in a good way, like a good spiral, not the bad kind.
As teachers, we've been sold this lie that everything is about students in our class, but as a teacher, you need to be enjoying it too, because the kids pick up the vibe if you're not really into it. They know that if you're not fully engaged and motivated. So it's important that you as the teacher are enjoying delivering the lessons just as much as the kids are learning and they're enjoying it too. I'm a big believer.
100%.
Maybe a little controversial, I don't know.
Yes. No, I believe the kids pick up on our energy before they pick up on whatever it is that we're trying to explicitly teach. Because you just feel it. I don't know. I don't even know how else to explain it, but they can tell, if you're not feeling it, they're not feeling it. Yeah,
it's kind of like the undertone of the vibrations, isn't it? It's the energy vibrations of the classroom.
There's something real to that. Yes. Jonathan has a question. I love seeing the questions in the chat. So if you have a question, feel free to pop it in. And also remember, every comment, including a question or just sharing how this is resonating with you, or asking about the event, or asking about Ashleigh's podcast or whatever. So Jonathan says, what kind of fun games are your favorite, and how many students should be in each group?
This is a great question. So I'm going to start with the second part. How many students should be in each group? Personally, I like to have a classroom that's a little bit calmer, and I'm a bit of an ordered person, so a type A kind of teacher. Keep that in mind. You might be able to have a little bit more chaos. So I like to have 4 to 6 students in a group, but I generally like them to be playing games in pairs or individually. Now, individually, I probably wouldn't have in the classroom, but there are some kids that don't like playing with partners or don't like working with people.
Yeah.
And it's okay that we have a lot of games where you could play it with a partner or you could play it on your own, which I think is important too. We learn in different ways, and
Yes.
different kids like different things. So there's a little way of differentiation as well, like giving kids the opportunity to work the way that suits them best. So that's just a side note. So I like to have 4 to 6 students in a group, and then them playing games in partners. And what are my favorite games to play? Simple games are the best, but my favorite resource to use in the classroom for maths are cards, because they're bright, they're colorful, they don't have anything on the card. So they're really great for different learners, especially those ones that can get a little bit distracted. They're really good at that too. They're just digits, so you can use them 0 all the way to 9. They've got a 0 placeholder too, which is really, really important in math, that we can use that 0. So they're my favorite resource to use. And then you can use them for so many things. Place value games, addition, subtraction, multiplication. You can put 2 numbers together to create a 2-digit number, 5 numbers together to create a 5-digit number. We've actually just created a whole heap of resources, and we have them just on mat. So the kids, you just print it out, and then the activity's on the mat, and the kids just have the cards to complete the activity. But we create a whole heap where they're doing measurement activities using cards. So they're my favorite games to play because they're simple. They can be differentiated really, really easily. The cards are just a great buy-in for the kids too. I think I did a session in your winter conference about cards, and I didn't want to repeat myself, so I did a different session this time. But
no, you're good.
About.
No, and I love the Uno activities that you have. I just think they're so much fun. And I mean, honestly, kids just love playing that game in general, right? So when you can bring it in to math, whenever you can bring something in where they're like, oh, I have that at home, or something they like into any activity. That's one thing I love now that I'm homeschooling. I do that with my kids, but I also did that when I was in the classroom as a teacher. So much fun. And you just released a new set, right?
Yes, so we just released, we've got 3 sets now. So version 1, 2, and 3 for all grades. So kindergarten all the way through to grade 6.
Amazing.
And they're basically just print and go. So you print it out. The instructions are all on the one sheet, and off you go.
And then there you go, like a math center all done for your math block. I love it.
Really.
And I love, we have varying opinions, right? Margaret didn't like teaching math. Latrice loves teaching math. Jonathan says, thank you for your answers. Sarah,
maybe Margaret should go and get out the cards and see if you
start
enjoying math a little more.
Yes. Maybe and I bet at your session, they're going to get so many more ideas too. When they have that framework where they can, just like you were talking about, layer these different pieces so they're seeing some positive momentum, so they feel successful, so they're having fun, their students are having fun and being successful. That's what we're going for.
Yeah, it's absolutely what we're going for. Back to your question, back to the question too. During my session, I outline the 6 different steps, but then I show you some actual real life examples of that in action in the classroom. Like, you could do this activity, you could do this game, you could do this activity. If you want more ideas for activities and games and things that work, make sure you come along, because I've got all of that.
Yes, I love it. I've got all of that. I thought you were still going.
All of that.
Oh, wait. Just all of it. Come on. I love what Sarah said. She likes to have a game or 2 that they can play alone. Great for early finishers. If done early, play whatever game for 10 minutes while friends are finishing up. I love that. Are they able to play the Uno games on their own? Or are those?
Yes, they are.
How?
They can play in pairs where they have, let's say they're doing a multiplication game. I was doing this one with my son this morning because he wants to work on his multiplication facts. We lock in one number, so say it's times by 2. And then he's flipping over the card. So 2 times 6, 2 times 4, 2 times 5. And then he covers the answers. The answers are all down the bottom. So he's covering the answers as he goes, but we were playing it together. So I would flip a card and I would cover an answer. Then he would flip a card and then cover an answer. And we were going to see who got 3 in a row.
That's so fun.
But he could easily play that on his own and just wait until he gets 3 in a row, or wait until he's got all the numbers.
Oh, that's so clever. I love that. Yes, Margaret says she loves it. She can't wait for school to start so she can just use them. So see, that is what I love. And that is why I bring amazing people like Ashleigh to Educate and Rejuvenate. So during the summer, you can get all these little sparks of new ideas. So then you can't wait for school to start. Instead of like, oh, I'm dreading going back to school. It's like, no, I've got all these exciting new ideas that are fresh, that are making me feel like, oh yeah, I remember why I'm doing this. And then you come to my sessions and feel grounded and like, yes, I'm going to find more balance in the new year. So that is what we're here for. All of us together. It is an experience that is going to help you to not be able to wait until school starts. Jonathan says, very great. Love it. Okay, Ashleigh, how do you balance meeting curriculum outcomes while also staying flexible and student-centered?
Well, this is a tricky one because it's important that we meet the outcomes, and there's often a lot that we have to cover. And sometimes we can cross over and cover those things as we're going to. So firstly, I would recommend teachers to be a little bit more flexible in your mindset when it comes to trying to cover outcomes in your classroom. Especially in those younger grades, because all of the skills are very transferable. Like last night I was playing a game with my kids. It wasn't maths related. We were playing a drawing game, and my little kindergartner, she was on my team, and we were playing and everyone got a score, at the end of the game. And she was practicing her tally marks and counting at the same time. So that's kind of hitting off 2 different outcomes at the same time. So being flexible with that, but also finding what the kids like and then doubling down on that. So we were talking about cards before. Let's say, for example, you get out the cards, you're playing some games with them and the kids really, really love them. Well, start to double down on that. Think, okay, so how could I use this for this activity? How could I use this for that activity, for this outcome? For this example, we've got so many different activities for you that you could just actually grab them and go. Like we cover all sorts of different curriculum outcomes, but it might be something else that your kids really, really love. Like it might be building blocks that they really love. Okay, how can I double down on that to meet a curriculum outcome, but also give them the building blocks that they love? One activity that we really love to do with that is get a dry erase marker. That's what you call it, right? A dry erase marker.
Yes.
We call it a whiteboard.
What do you call it?
We call it a whiteboard marker.
Well, that works too. I would totally know what you mean by that.
One of these, a whiteboard marker. You can write on your plastic blocks with your dry erase marker, and they could be different algorithms that they have to solve. So there's lots of different ways that you can double down on what the kids are enjoying. Yes. But also meeting those outcomes. We actually just recorded a podcast episode all about using games that you might already have, but making them mathematical. So all of those standard games that you might have in your classroom, like Twister or Jenga.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of games have like some math in them already. So then they're just little tweaks you can do to add a little bit more. Like
exactly.
Like, especially for the younger grades, like they're learning counting or like one-to-one correspondence. Any sort of board game is already doing that,
Exactly.
And so I love that. I love using games. I love being flexible with how we get to an outcome. The important thing isn't that we do it from this set curriculum. And I know sometimes our schools say this curriculum, but again, it's not the how, it's just getting there and in the way that serves the student, right? And so I love how you talked about being able to be flexible about how to get to that outcome, and even not putting so much pressure on the outcome, because like you said, there are a lot of things build upon each other and they're transferable and they'll get it eventually, right? So when you have less pressure, it actually makes the student feel less pressure as well.
For sure. Also, if you're trialing different things, that's great. Like it's not always going to be perfect every time.
Yeah.
And give yourself some grace as a teacher. I think we can be so hard on ourselves as teachers. We think that we need to get it right every single time. And even if you've been a teacher for 40 years, it's all about trial and error and saying, okay, I'm trialing this. It didn't work. but I trialed this and it was amazing. So give yourself grace to give things a go and to trial things, just like what we would say to our kids. Use that growth mind to give things a go and for it not to work. And then you move on. Like you've got a whole year with these kids.
Yes. And yeah, not everything is going to be the thing that works, but that we find what works by finding out what doesn't work too. So Jonathan says using Uno cards for math facts, that is what was the great idea. Yes, that was a wonderful idea and I love it. Yeah. We've talked about some, but what are some of your favorite real classroom examples where these strategies that we've been talking about the past 33 minutes have made a big difference?
I think not fighting the kids. So like instead of fighting them, join them. So one of the activities that I love to do is you get out the MAB blocks. Is that what you call them? The base 10 blocks? You know, the 10s.
Base 10 blocks, yes.
So you get out the base 10 blocks. What do kids want to do? They want to build a tower every single time. Or they want to make
of course they do. They always do.
Every single time. They're never going to do the activity. I'm actually getting flashbacks of this grade 3 classroom that I was teaching in, and it was the first day of school, and I wanted to do a place value activity with them. And we got out the blocks and they just were building these towers like as tall as the roof. It was actually quite incredible, but I was like, that is not the activity that I want you to do. So if you can't beat them, join them, get them to make towers and then calculate what the number of that tower is. And there's your place value activity. Or say to them, okay, you've only got 13,524 blocks. Go and make something with that. If you want to differentiate that for the younger grades, I actually made this as a part of my routine. So I started teaching a grade 1 class and they only had hundreds, 10s and 1s. And they started making little pictures and we were doing it around Christmas time. And I said to them, you had to make a picture, and they all made reindeers. It was really, really cute. And then we looked at the reindeers, how much each reindeer was worth with the blocks. Then you can take it to the next level. So say to them, okay, so one reindeer was worth this amount, the other reindeer was worth this amount. Let's make it a how many difference. Let's get out the number line and jump the number line just to work out the difference between these two amounts. Let's work out what we would need to take away if we only wanted this amount of blocks. So if you can't beat them, join them. That is my first piece of advice. Yes. Okay,
you've been talking about that.
Yeah, I was talking about that, but then I just yeah. Another example, and if you're actually on this live, you can see behind me, I've got a game here on the board, and I love it printing out games that the kids are going to use and then doing a class version first. So getting all the kids, right, we're going to play teacher versus student. They love that. They love being against you as the teacher. You play the game. You're modeling it. You're showing them exactly what you want them to do. You're teaching them the rules. They're getting the fun idea of the game. You can put in a little bit of explicit teaching at the same time. So that's another really great way that I found it really works in the classroom, because then the kids know exactly what's expected of them. They can play the game and they're having fun. This one behind me is a Friends to 10 one. And we've got lots of games like this that are free that you can just download and use.
I remember you also had a really fun one. When I launched my book back in September, we had some of my awesome friends, including you, who submitted something to go into a bundle for those who purchased that week. And you had this really fun one that had like houses. I think it was place value. I remember sharing it on screen and everyone thought it was really cool, but now it's like a little fuzzy because, you know, that was when you're in like launching something, it's like, you know.
This is the perfect activity to do for back to school, especially if you teach older students, but you can adapt it again. This is actually the perfect example of adapting something for no matter what level your students are in. So we've got little houses and they create a place value chart with their houses. So they'll have a house with 1s, 10s, 100s, so that's one house. Then a thousands house, so you've got your thousands, 10s, thousands, 100s, thousands, and so on and so forth. But they get the little place value blocks, the MAB blocks, and then they can put them in there to represent what that would actually look like. It's a craft activity, but it gets them to really start to understand what the place value system looks like, how it actually works. In Australia, we don't use commas in our numbers, but I know in the US you do. So then you can add in the commas and it gives them that great scaffold. Then they've got that craft there. They can put it on top of a little mini whiteboard and start to write numbers and practice how to say those numbers. They can write them in words after that. Like there's lots of different activities you could do with that, but they could use that as an actual scaffold to use in their learning too. So again, with your younger grades, you could just have the one house with ones, tens, and hundreds. But if you taught grade 6, you could go all the way up to billions, or you could go the other direction and do decimals.
Negative, yeah, or decimals, yeah. So cool. Oh yeah, it wouldn't be negative, duh. It would be, we're talking place value. This is when you can tell it's the morning for you and the evening for me.
Yes. Yes. Well, you could, we've got an activity game with the Cartesian plane where they're working with decimal numbers. So
yes, I love decimals. They're fun.
I mean, not decimals, the negative numbers. So you see, now
now we're getting mixed up. What is going on?
The Cartesian plane has negative. We were talking about decimals when it came to place value.
Yes, I love it. Charity says you can give them 5 minutes to free play with materials before the activity. I love it. Latrice is going to try playing Uno in our small groups on Friday. Love hearing that. And Jonathan says, that sounds like a great idea. I love it. I love seeing you all cheer each other on. And that's one of the things I love about Educate and Rejuvenate Summer 2025. But that's what I love about the conference, is because it's not just about me teaching you or Ashleigh teaching you, but it's all of us coming together. The chat is always like hopping like crazy, and so many people just sharing. And so it's just a great time because we come together and cheer each other on. And I love that. So Ashleigh, I'm really excited that you're back for this summer, which our summer event is like the super hopping one, the summer one. And then the winter is like smaller and intimate, which I love. What are you most excited about as a presenter this time around?
Well, as you were just talking, I was about to butt in and say, can I say something about the event that I love?
Yes. Oh, yeah, I would love to hear.
I'm actually, as a presenter, I'm really excited that there's so many wonderful things that are coming to help teachers put out into their classrooms. And the fact that you have this menu that you can pick and choose from, I think that's really, really cool. Mm-hmm. I don't think you take everything on. Pick what suits you and go with that. But on the flip side, I'm actually going to come along as a participant, and I'm really excited about more of the whole teacher side of things. So yes. I know that there's like a lot of mindset work and strategies. There's like some fitness and yoga and stuff. And I'm really excited about that because I think as teachers, we put ourselves in a box and we think, okay, we're teachers, but no, we're actually people too. And to be the best 100%. Version of yourself, you have to be the best human, the best full-bodied person. And that involves like fitness and eating well and, doing what's great for you.
We had a session about eating well. We had Laura on the podcast earlier. It's really holistic. And I'm so excited that you're joining as an attendee.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I think that's great.
Yes, it's going to be so much fun all coming together. And Ash, if I see you in the chat, I'll definitely shout it out.
Well, everyone will know as I'm waking up in the morning in Fiji and I'm on the chat.
That's
you'll know
true.
where
You'll
I
be
am.
doing it. You'll probably be doing it while you're not in Fiji, though. I mean, you should.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So, just hearing that, though, it makes me so excited that you're excited, and everybody in the chat I've seen be like, I can't wait for the event on each of these podcasts, because that's what we created this event for, is for you. Even we actually just edited the headline on the page. I have to show you all, because before it was join for less than a latte, which is true because you can. And we wanted to emphasize that, this is really affordable for teachers. We didn't want price to be a reason that you don't join us, but we actually just changed it to the teacher conference that sees you as a whole human, because that is what we're about. And so we want you to be able to, grab all these amazing ideas that are going to light you up about next school year so you can apply them, and make sure that you see that as a way to uplift your career, but also uplift yourself too. So we're doing both in tandem. You don't have to choose. We're going to educate and rejuvenate. So it's going to be a great time. We hope to see you there. Again, $5 is a no-brainer for you to come along, join us. And the other thing I like to show while I have it on screen, because a lot of people, we did try to make it stand out even more, but look, you can click on. So for example, Ashleigh right here. Did you know you're right on the top there, Ash? You can click and then learn about the presenter. So if you want to see more about who you're going to hear from, this is the place to go. But like I have on each of these Summer Sips podcasts, I like to end with some fun wrap-up questions. And this first one is because, again, at the event, we have comedy, right? We have Anna Kowal, who you might have seen on Board Teachers, doing comedy for us. And so I have a question that'll make us all laugh today. So what is the funniest thing a student has ever said to you? And it could be about math or just anything in general.
Well, I feel like this is either funny or embarrassing. I'm not really sure. But I taught a kindergarten class. We were all this little kid was like an old man in a kid's body. You know, when you meet those kids, you're like, oh, you've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he was telling me that one of his dad's friends broke up with his girlfriend and that he was sleeping on their couch. And I was like, oh, okay. And this friend used to come along with the dad to pick them up from school and things. So obviously this friend was going through a bit of a hard time. And then this child came up to me and said, you know, my dad's friend, he thinks you're hot. Do you want to go on a date with him?
That's so cute.
So cute and but so inappropriate.
So inappropriate, but so funny. I mean, kids, I just don't know, you know, like,
No.
like, yeah, sometimes like things kids in my class will say or that like my own children say, I'm just like, oh, that's so like, it's funny, it's cute, it's also like, like,
My daughter actually said that they were doing a circle time in her kindergarten classroom, and they were talking about where in the world they had come from, because Australia is extremely multicultural. So they're talking about, you know, the different family backgrounds, and she put up her hand and she's got white blonde hair. This child has got the whitest hair you've ever seen, and obviously pale skin. And she put up her hand and she said, I know where my family comes from, China. Now, we've got no ties to China whatsoever. I've never even been there.
oh my goodness. You're like, no, that's not accurate.
No, she told me so proud. And I was like, oh, where does that come from? The teachers probably thought, what?
She likes the idea of that, you know?
Yeah.
So, so funny. Okay, the next, like, you know, rapid fire, I think that's what they call it, question. What's one tip you'd give to teachers to make math feel more rejuvenating, not just effective? I mean, I guess we kind of talked about that this whole time, but.
The main tip, I think, for me would be just change your mindset. If you don't like it, go in with a different mindset. Like, I'm going to try new things this year. Let's see what happens. Even just let's see what happens, I think, is a good reframe.
Yeah. Yeah, it does sound good. This is amazing. Or like, I love math. Like, you got to find the next belief. That's what we talk about a lot in coaching, like something that's believable to you. So that shift can be really helpful going to curiosity. Like, let's see what happens. That is a shift to curiosity right there instead of judgment. So that alone can be huge. So I agree with that. And then
coming out in you, Kelsey. I love it.
Something new? Is that what you just said?
I like how you just reframe what I said to make it like you can see the coach in you coming out. And
I love that.
I said and went, okay, so let's like make this more coachy. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great way of saying that.
I feel like it just like comes now because it's what I'm so immersed in. I mean, the same for you, right? With like all your activities that you can just be this and that and that. I love it. Yeah. And then finally, if you had to fill in the blank, you know, we have these fun, and that's upside down, these fun signs that we're encouraging everybody to post on social, because again, we are teachers and we're whole humans. So I educate and you fill in the blank. So do you have yours?
Yes, right now is I educate and watch reality TV. In brackets, I'm loving Secret Life of Mormon Wives right now. I can't get enough.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, you know I'm in Utah. So like the dirty soda, all those things. Yeah, it's awesome.
You know, I don't understand the soda. The soda is, I'm like, so much soda and they're like still thin. I don't get that.
Oh, I mean, they're probably doing diet for like, because you can do the diet soda and the diet add-ins. So I mean, it's not good for you. but yeah, I know it's a cultural thing for sure.
Yeah, it sure is. That's one thing. My husband even watches it with me, which he's not into that stuff, but he quite enjoys it. And he's like, what's with all of the soda? And the drive-through places where you can like drive through and get soda, we do not have that in Australia.
Yeah, it's like growing here. Like now, like Arizona has them, Nevada has them, like different places, but it definitely originated here. So funny. All right, so and that's even one of mine is I mean I have my Coke Zero today, but I mean I love all kinds of drinks. So okay, so we're like we got to get you to your assembly. So let's let everybody know where they can follow you on socials and if they want to learn more from. I think you had a freebie too.
Yeah, well, we've got loads of freebies.
Well, you do,
So
yes.
you did mention this freebie that's behind me. Sorry, it's backwards. This freebie that's behind me. But if you want a freebie, come to our Instagram at Rainbow Sky Creations, and we share freebies all the time.
All the time.
All the time. Every
Yes.
week, there's something that you can download. Or jump onto our website, www.rainbowskycreations.com, and you'll be able to find the card resources, and you'll be able to find freebies and all sorts of bits and pieces there that can help you too. We're on TikTok and Facebook and all of those other places, all at Rainbow Sky Creations. It's really easy. But come over and say hello. If you've got a question, send me a DM. That's it's me on the other end of those DMs, and I would love to chat with you. I'm really looking forward to the conference.
Me too. I'm so thrilled that you're part of it. And this has been so fun. So again, join us at the conference. Follow Ashleigh. Go to her Instagram. She's got so many freebies there. And they just post really fun stuff too. So make sure you follow. And join us. Go to the link at the top of the video, educaterejuvenate.com/summer 2025, and you can join us at the event. If you are listening on Rainbow Sky, make sure that you use Ashleigh's link in her show notes or episode description, because as a presenter, she has a special link that you can follow. So make sure that you do that so that she gets the credit for it. Okay. Thank you so much, Ashleigh. This has been so much fun and so many good insights on teaching math and mindset shifts about it and things we can do to make it more fun. So I got a lot out of this. I bet everybody else did too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. See everyone there.
Bye, everybody.
Well, that was fun. I loved chatting to Kelsey and her amazing community online. Again, if you want to join us at her special summer event or her special conference. I know it's winter here in Australia, but for our Northern Hemisphere friends, it's summertime. It is in the school holidays for Aussie teachers. Come and join us. The link is in our show notes. And we are going to be back next week with another amazing episode. It's with someone that you may have heard of before. I'm going to give you a clue and leave it at that. She is a cherub and fairly charming. I wonder if you can work out who it is. I will see you right here next week. Until then, there are rainbows ahead, my friend, and together we're unstoppable.